It's all fun and games until you're dragged out by a riptide, bitten by a shark, or contaminated by radioactive waste. The world's oceans, seas, rivers and lakes are begging to be explored, but some of the most spectacular are also the most deadly. Don't be fooled by pretty scenery or intriguing wildlife. Even the most inviting hot spring or serene mountain lake could be hiding a hazardous secret. Lake Champlain. You may recognise Lake Champlain from the 2014 movie Blood Lake: Attack of the Killer Lampreys. As you may have guessed, several Lake Champlain lamprey attacks served as inspiration for the film. Lampreys are ancient blood-sucking snake-like fish that latch onto other fish with their razor-sharp teeth to feed on their blood and nutrients. Oh, and they also attack humans. Especially in British rivers and lakes, lampreys are on the rise, so always make sure that there hasn't been any recent lamprey attacks prior to taking a dip in a British body of water. Hells of Baku. The Hells of Baku attracts visitors from worldwide. But beware, these aren't your regular run-of-the-mill hot springs, as their temperatures are too high for anyone to soak in safely, and these hot-as-hell pools have very different and unique attributes for visitors worldwide to enjoy. There's Umijigoku, a lake with a beautiful blue colour that reminds of a crystalline sea born over 1,200 years ago from the explosion of the Serene volcano. Surrounded by beautiful vegetation, tropical palms and a small Shinto temple, it's listed among the national sites of scenic beauty. Of incredible beauty, its waters reach a temperature of 98 degrees Celsius. There's Onishibozu Jigoku, a bubbling of bubbles in muddy puddles that creates a hypnotic effect. The bubble forms, swells and explodes, creating concentric circles around the bubble, thus reminding us of the shaven heads of the monks. And for the foodies, there's Kamero Jigoku, known as the cooking pot hell. It's where to get eggs, vegetables and sweet dumplings, all steamed to perfection by hot spring vapours. You may also enjoy hand and foot baths there if you wish, and why not? Just don't stick your feet in this next pool. The Oniyama Pool is home to a large number of crocodiles kept on the grounds and known as the Monster Mountain Hell. And there's the Blood Pond Hell, which features a cauldron of hot red water caused by the levels of iron and magnesium enriched clay that seeps into the pool from the ground. And last but not least, the Tatsumaki Pool, known as the Tornado Hell, stars a hot geyser that erupts erratically about every 30 to 40 minutes. Sounds like fun. Japan's Hells of Beppu has everything. Pitch Lake, Trinidad. Pitch Lake may have the most apt name of any lake on Earth. It's a lake made entirely from pitch asphalt, the same stuff we use to surface roads and so on. You better believe the result is weird. Pitch Lake is so thick in places that you can walk across it, and so dangerously thin in others that you can slip through its surface, vanishing forever into the murky depths below. The lake's surface ranges in texture from being as thick and solid as rock, to as springy as an eraser, to as squidgy and terrifying as quicksand. Trees, boulders and other bits and pieces that fall into its embrace often get stuck to the surface, and where the pitch hardens around them effectively turns them into stone. This means Pitch Lake is a lake that you walk across while surrounded with the statues of dead trees and other life forms. We're betting that's not a sentence you hear very often. Word to the wise, if you're planning a visit, while some tourists brave the lake's clearer waters for a swim, this is about as dangerous as the idea of swimming in pitch sounds. Don't say we didn't warn you. Roopkund Lake, India. There are certain things you never want to find in any body of water. Piranhas is one. The decaying remains of hundreds of humans who've died a terrifying death is another. Yet that's exactly what British troops found in Roopkund Lake in the winter of 1942. It being wartime and all, the Brits naturally assumed that they were at the scene of a Japanese massacre. The truth was far, far stranger. When the bones were examined, it turned out they'd all dated to around 850 AD. On top of that, they'd all been killed in a similar way, with a blow to the head that cracked their skulls. The injury matched no known weapon. So what could have caused 200 people to die in this way? The eventual answer scientists came up with was hailstones. Really, really big hailstones. There's an old song from the region around Roopkund about a mountain goddess who smoked a bunch of travellers with a titanic hailstorm. It's now thought that this is a folk memory of a real event, and a freak hailstorm that dropped baseball-sized chunks of solid ice killed all 200 pilgrims in the valley when they couldn't reach shelter. Over time, the valley filled with water, eventually becoming the skeleton-haunted Roopkund Lake. Drake Passage. British Antarctic Survey or BAS scientists believe that approximately 30 to 50 million years ago, South America and Antarctica split apart very rapidly, owing to which the Drake Passage was formed, and this resulted in a major global cooling. The Drake Passage stretches for just under 1,000 kilometers and is the spot where the Atlantic, Pacific and Southern Seas converge, creating a roaring current mix that has the potential to make you regret that extra serve of pasta at supper. What makes the Drake Passage so infamously rough is the fact that currents at this latitude meet no resistance from any landmass anywhere on the planet. Coupled with the area's propensity for high wind, the crossing of the Drake Passage can be quite the adventurous exploit. Water within the Drake Passage flows predominantly from west to east and forms part of the Antarctic Circumpolar Current, the most voluminous current in the world, with an estimated rate of flow between 3,400 and 5,300 million cubic feet per second, which is about 600 times the flow of the Amazon River. That's pretty scary. Lake Natron. While passing over northeastern Tanzania in 2017, the NASA's Landsat 8 satellite captures a strange image of the red glowing lake. The lake colour appears so unnatural. It looks like runoff from an industrial slaughterhouse or something monstrous is lurking underneath it. But that's not it at all. According to local legend, the lake turns anything that touches it into stone, and that's the reason the lake is also known as Medusa Lake. Legend states that Medusa was once a beautiful avowed priestess of Athena who was cursed for breaking her vow of celibacy. Anyone who locked gaze with Medusa will be turned to stone. Medusa is beheaded by the Greek hero Perseus, and her blood drips on to Africa. A deeper investigation revealed that the Medusa Lake has not always been red. Previous satellite images revealed that its colour is changing. Upon further inspection of the red water, experts found that it abounded in high amounts of cyanobacteria living in the environment, and it turns out that they are red. Experts believe when the population of this bacteria increases, the lake is becoming more reddish. But how will they explain the animal statues? Unlike those other lakes though, Lake Natron, or Medusa, is extremely alkaline due to high amounts of the chemical natron, a mix of sodium carbonate and baking soda in the water. The water's pH has been measured as high as 10.5, nearly as high as ammonia, and this is what causes the animals to turn into stone. That's not all. Some believe that this bizarre phenomenon has something to do with a volcano that's very close to Natron Lake called Oldoño Lengai, Mountain of God in the Maasai language, which produces unique natronocarbonatite lava. Experts still weren't able to find out the exact reason. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. Queensland, Australia. Swimming at the beach has its own risks. Apart from shark attacks and high tides, this beach in Queensland in Australia has to deal with these deadly tiny creatures. The Irukandji jellyfish only ranges from 0.5 to 1 inch in size. They're considered some of the most dangerous jellyfish species on the planet. They're so tiny it's almost impossible to detect in water. To make matters worse, there's currently no antidote if you get stung by them. The box jellyfish is another deadly creature swimming around these beaches, which the beachgoers have to keep an eye out for. So the next time you plan to swim in the beaches of Queensland, enter at your own risk. Cairns Crossing. Cairns Crossing on the East Alligator River in the Northern Territory is notorious for its croc-infested waters and human misadventure. Each year, dozens of brazen divers attempt to make it across the submerged crossing, but instead end up being washed away into the croc-infested waters. Others risk their lives by wading in the waters and fishing. Some even bring their children. Rangers last year conducted a survey of the East Alligator River and counted 120 crocodiles in a 6-kilometre stretch south of Cairns Crossing. The crossing is popular with tourists and fishermen, despite warning signs that point out an extreme risk of saltwater crocodile attacks. Yet some people continue to risk and sometimes lose their lives. Jacob's Well. If you're looking for relief from the stifling Texas heat, you'll likely be drawn to the near-constant 68-degree Fahrenheit crystal-clear water of Jacob's Well. Jacob's Well is home to some of the most dangerous diving caves in the world. It also happens to be the entrance of Texas's second longest fully submerged cave, with plunging depths of 100 feet or more. The mouth is a 30-foot deep natural well that opens up at the bottom to a broad network of caves that have many inexperienced divers never leave. For those of you who want to just relax and enjoy this natural wonder, feel free to safely dip your toes around the well's entrance. But if you're a daredevil, you know who you are, you may want to look somewhere else. There have been 8 diving fatalities between the years of 1964 and 1984, and therefore only researchers with special permits are allowed to explore the unforgiving depths of Jacob's Well today. There are various signs posted around the well reading, "Stop, Prevent your death. Go no farther, along with facts concerning the frequent cave deaths. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please let me know by clicking the like button. Do share, write a comment, and don't forget to subscribe so you can catch up my next video.